Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Water, water, almost everywhere, but who controls it? Andy's got the rundown.
Sam, first today we talked to Judge James Hardesty. We talked to him last week and didn't get a chance to get to settlements. Today we discussed that. And then we talked to Assemblyman Jason Geddes about that bill that did away with bidding. He says it makes sense. Sam?
Thanks, Andy. And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Keith Lee, Martha Gould, and the return of Jim Denton. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
The Abowed family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Catch a straight, dine at 8. Lucky you. Lucky you. Dance till 1. Have some fun. Lucky you. Lucky you. Taste the shrimp. Have a sip. Try the pool. Play it cool. At the Sienna Hotel Spa Casino. Lucky you. Yeah!
The biggest risk your company can take.
Well, Barbara, you did very well on your interview.
Hiring employees can help your business get to the next level.
And your resume looks outstanding.
And it can also expose you to corporate crimes and costly lawsuits that can bring your company to its knees.
So, we'd like to offer you a position.
Before you hire another employee, hire the professionals at Employer Links. Call today to get our free CD-ROM, The Top 8 Risk of Hiring Employees.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the News 4 Broadcast Center, here's Sam Shad.
In a desert, water is king. We've got a judge with us today, Judge Jim Hardesty. Pleasure to have you back on the program.
Thank you.
And you're going to be doing some negotiating here.
Well, negotiating or adjudicating, I'm not sure which, and there's an important difference. Because of the fact that it may be adjudicating, that is deciding a dispute between parties, I really can't comment too much on that. As you know, a year ago we entered into settlement negotiations between the county and city and Sparks and regional planning and a number of other parties. 3 weeks later, a settlement agreement was reached concerning the regional plan. It resolved a number of disputes, and it also created a dispute resolution process for ongoing review of various issues. And from what I've been able to determine, apparently there are some issues that may be coming to me, both on the regional plan as well as on the water. One thing I'll tell you, I did not want this job. But it's interesting, at the very early part of the negotiating process, when no one thought a settlement could be reached concerning the regional plan, the negotiations very early on identified one critical issue that everybody agreed to. We need to have a process that can bring about a quick resolution, not extended lawsuits that cost lots of money involve too many lawyers, and may take years. So it was suggested there be a dispute resolution process. And in essence, the parties would involve their own dispute resolution process through Regional Planning Commission, Regional Planning Governing Board, but there needed to be an end game. And the parties suggested that there be a final arbiter that would resolve these disputes using applicable legal standards. And then they asked me if I would do that. And I said, gosh, let's see if we can't find somebody else to do this job. But ultimately it was agreed that would be the case. And so that'll be the process. But because it's a contested matter, I really can't comment.
Well, let me ask you this. Will the scope of what you might be negotiating or working towards a settlement on involve who's in charge of the water, the county, or Ottumwa? Because I'm a bit confused by recent stories that we've been seeing.
I don't think it'll involve who's in charge, but it may involve who gets service and under what circumstances. And it depends on the scope of the issues that the parties put in front of me. I saw today where there is an issue that's going before the County Commission concerning the Verdi issue. Again, I don't want to comment about that because it may be coming to me to resolve. But there are both issues as to coverage and service, as well as when and under what circumstances water is provided. And those are critical issues that are already outlined in the settlement agreements between the parties, but there are certainly circumstances that they may want to present that require some adjudication.
Okay, what about the settlement from last year? I mean, how is that all worked out the way that you wanted to?
Absolutely. And by the way, I think the public should know, because I think sometimes these things get lost in the process. The settlement last year resolved a number of issues, and also put in place a structure by which some other issues could be resolved. And the principal thing that last year's settlement agreement did was to compel the parties to participate in cooperative planning, a concept that had never before been addressed or codified or set forth in any of the statutes. And the issue that I put before them is this: why can't the parties cooperatively plan these disputed areas? They are all impacted, all of you are impacted by these various areas. Sparks and county have issues that are in common. City of Reno and county have issues that are in common. So the cooperative planning process was approved by the settlement agreement, and that's what they're expected to live by.
And if they don't, there are strict penalties to this.
Yes, there are.
Do you want to elaborate?
They're contained in the settlement agreement, but as I made clear to the parties, you agree or there will be sanctions.
And sanctions could include going to jail.
In the worst of circumstances, that's a risk.
But that makes it a very strong settlement.
Yes, it is, and they agreed to it. And by the way, to the credit of all of these governing bodies, they all voted unanimously to support the settlement agreement.
All right, we're out of time.
and we're going to have him back because we didn't get a chance to talk about the new rules governing juries.
All right. Judge Hardesty, you're booked. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This will be a...
Hi, I'm Dan.
And I'm Terry.
And this is Dan's Pizza and Parlor. Everything we make here is from scratch. Our fresh cut fries, homemade hamburgers made to order, fresh pizza dough made with 3 types of flour, and Terry's secret pizza sauce, and Dreyer's world-famous ice cream. And if you have a sports team, your kids can really have a great time here. Oh! Dan's Pizza and Parlor on Victorian Avenue, just down the street from Great Basin Brewery next to Pyramid Highway.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at DeAndrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South DeAndrea Parkway in Sparks.
Welcome to Sushi Club, best sushi in town. The Sushi Club in Independence Square used the best quality products. The sushi is dynamite, and the service is just wonderful.
The Sushi Club is bigger and better. We have 11 sushi chefs on staff, and the service is great.
All your friends will tell you that Sushi Club is the best place for the best sushi.
Come join us for lunch or dinner.
The Sushi Club, 294 East Moana Lane in the Independence Square.
Now that's great sushi.
To experience the royal cuisine of India, you need some serious magic or simply transport yourself to India Garden, right here in Reno, where you'll discover Indian specialties refined over centuries. Seekh kebab, tandoori dishes cooked in our own tandoor oven, biryani specialties, curries, fresh-baked Indian bread, over a dozen vegetarian dishes, even dishes rare to India like dosa, South Indian-style crepes. India Garden off South Virginia near Sports West. We are India.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, Jason Geddes joins us. We want to talk about AB 398, which did away with the bidding process for energy projects. Let's talk about this.
It didn't do away with the bidding process. It changed it from an RFQ to an RFP.
Okay, explain.
All right, now the public
right off the top.
Well, as opposed to going out and say we want to do an energy retrofit of the state legislative building, everybody bid on it. What this does is put in guidelines where you can tailor fit based on each individual building you're going into. It's not just energy. We expanded it in Nevada to be energy and water and other operational savings that could come into effect. This isn't new legislation. This legislation, it first started in 1983. Ohio did it. The federal government picked it up.
This is new legislation for Nevada.
Well, somewhat. It's
that's why you brought the bill.
It is. We've had procedures in the past. The procedures are in NRS 338. They've been very limited. In the 4 years that they've had the program, they've only had 2 that have made it through. So this bill was made to expand it and move it forward. If you look at the budget that we had to go through, $50 million a year is spent on energy in state buildings. If you throw in the school districts, it's another $50 million. If you throw in local governments, who knows how high it goes.
Okay, so
and that's just energy. That's not the water and the other savings.
So just bottom line, this bill was to encourage the use of energy conservation that would ultimately save the state and local governments money because their utility bills wouldn't be so high.
Correct.
Okay.
And the whole intent of the bill is energy conservation and alternative energy retrofits. So that, and what you do is if your power bill's $1,000 a month, you install energy saving techniques so that your power bill drops to $500 a month, and you use that difference of the $500 to pay off the installations that you put in.
Okay, so let me give you an example that was given to us yesterday. Let's say a school in the rural areas decides it wants to retrofit with air conditioning or something. And so one of the city councilmen or someone on the school board calls his brother-in-law, who has a license, therefore fits the requirement of being qualified to do it, and has him come in and take this whole contract and do the school without any bids. How do we know that was the lowest price?
That's not the way it works, actually. The way it works is you have to be pre-qualified by the State Public Works Board.
That means that has to go before it. It can't just be the school board.
That's correct. Everybody has to go in and be certified by the State Public Works Board as being a qualified company to perform this work. And there's at least 10 criteria that go into that. The State Public Works Board is working on the criteria. It's financial health, it's previous projects, it's works they've done. And that's pre-qualifying. You get on a pre-qualified list. And then whenever a project comes forward, what they have to do is notify every single individual who's on the pre-qualified list. And if you only do, say, water savings retrofits, you still get notified for any energy retrofits.
If you're on that list, but if you haven't known about the list and you're not on it, then you might not find out about it. It's no longer published. It's no longer published in the newspaper where everybody can see it.
It is, actually. You have to be on the list.
Okay.
You have to go through State Public Works. You have to be pre-qualified. And then everybody on the list would get notified. It still follows the notification requirements that are in NRS 338. It will be published in the paper. It will go out there. Everybody who gets that list says, yes, I want to bid on it, no, I don't want to bid. Everybody submits their bids. They work with purchasing, they work with the State Energy Office, and this legislation, one of the safeguards we put in is a third-party, independent, certified environmental manager or energy manager gets hired, and it's built into the cost, and this person serves In this case, they would serve for the school district, helping the school district review the contract. They wouldn't be part of the company doing the work. They would have to be a third-party certified professional.
For a fee?
To assess them, yes, for a fee. And that fee would be built into the operational savings contract. There's provisions in there where the state treasurer's office has to agree that all contracts meet the requirements, that everybody in there will be good for the savings. These are guaranteed savings. The key here is we get energy savings, we get water savings, we get retrofits on these buildings that aren't built into the state budget. They're paid for out of savings that we'd just be paying to Nevada Power
Okay,
Service.
this bill is put this whole thing in existence for a period of 15 years?
It allows the funding to take up to 15 years to pay off.
To take up to 15 years. Is this something, though, you're going to keep an eye on to be sure that there is no abuse, and we'll be looking at again in the next session, perhaps?
Most definitely. And when we first had the bill in, it was set to sunset in 2 years. And as Senator Townsend pointed out, we have the power to sunset any legislation in 2 years. We will be looking at this as part of it, as a separate issue. One of the problem areas surrounding this sort of activity was the university system. And we passed AB 148, which specifically evaluates the energy retrofits at the university system, and will come back with recommendations. And we will look closely at whatever they come back with, and we will modify this law as is needed.
Great.
Okay, Jason Geddes, thank you so much.
Thank
Very
you,
informal.
Jason.
Informational, not informal. Very informational. We'll be back. I'll get my words right. We'll be back on Nevada Newsmakers after this time out with the Pundits.
Before you head to Carson, take care of yourself with a visit to Tamarack Junction. Catch a hot cup of coffee and the morning news on one of our 32 TVs and enjoy the best food in South Reno. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
The Aboud family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Today's lesson, another reason to take the Gold Rush Club Card Challenge. With the Gold Rush Card, you really have 3 cards in one. Use your cash back. You still keep your comps and drawing tickets. Use your comps. You still keep your cash and drawing tickets. And with your drawing tickets, you could win thousands in cold hard cash every week. And still keep your cash back and comps. Does your club add up? Graduate to the Gold Rush Players Club. It's the smart thing to do. The Gold Dust West, south on Keystone, east on 4th.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo Free Checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Make your daily commute easy with breakfast or lunch at the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy daily specials, super fast service, and South Reno's freshest morning meals. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, before we get to the pundit panel, I want to set up the first story we want to talk about.
Wendell Williams is an minority assemblyman from Las Vegas, West Las Vegas. He's been in the legislature about 10 years, chairs the Education Committee. During the last session of this legislature, it is alleged that he billed the city, who he works for in his full-time job, erroneously, that he fill in here, guys, in case I missed something.
Cell phone charges. It's not alleged he billed them by mistake. It's alleged that he billed them.
Okay, well, let's introduce the panel. If we're going to get to the panel. Jim Denton, Martha Gould, and Keith Lee.
Okay. It's not alleged that he did anything. What is alleged is that after they figured it all out, one of the big problems in southern Nevada right now is it is alleged that after the session, they went back and redid Wendell Williams' time cards. Now, that is what is alleged.
And now Wendell alleges that his signature was forged on those redone time cards.
That he allegedly helped do.
That he allegedly helped do.
Now we have Wendell Gate.
Yeah.
And then also at some point, Wendell was at dinner with John Cummings, who's been on the show before, and and left with a bottle of champagne, which he told the waitress to charge to John Cummings' account.
Yeah, which John didn't know about for about 3 days because he'd already left. You know, Keith, I'm going to try that. Next time I take my wife out to dinner, I'm going to try that.
Charge it to me. That'd be fine.
I'm going to try that.
You know, like Caesar's wife, assembly people have to be above suspicion. Period.
And,
the end. And
all the elected officials need to be above suspicion.
And that is the problem. That is the problem.
Really has walked, I think, a very narrow, dangerous line.
Wendell's been walking the edge of the cliff for a long time. But the problem is that people look at what's going on with Wendell Williams, and yes, in his assembly district, he will get reelected.
Yep.
The problem is that in every other part of the state, you have hardworking people in public office who play by the rules, who do what's right, who do their jobs right, and they all get painted by that brush, and that's what I think is not fair.
And not only is it not fair, but I think it's very serious because it discourages good people from wanting to run for public office, or for that matter, wanting to work in the public sector.
And that's one of the reasons why we have such, in my view, such low voter turnout. They're saying, yeah, there we go. Typical. Business as usual. That's why I don't like politicians. Why should I take my time to vote?
You know, Sam, I got a question for Keith. I read the story in this morning's paper that Sue Voiles wrote with regard to the regional planning that Judge Hardesty was on. Now, let me see if I have this right, because I know you're an attorney and you appear in court. They are going to bring a 40-page procedural chart, a seating chart, 5,000 pages of testimony, and what, a hot dog stand? I don't know what else. I mean, what in the world is that all about? I mean, that is the biggest bureaucracy I've ever heard of.
Totally asinine.
Thank you, Martha.
I feel sorry for the judge.
Well, I do too. And, you know,
He's in a no-win situation.
It's a bureaucracy that continues to build upon itself, to build barriers around to protect itself, to justify its existence. I don't know why you need 40 pages of procedure.
When we created the Regional Planning Commission, and I sat there and said, we're adding levels of bureaucracy. Gentlemen, do you remember WCOG?
Absolutely.
Yes,
it
but
worked.
I also remember that during the Vietnam War, it took them 2 years to figure out the seating chart. I hope that's not what we're looking at here. You know, and I have to give Judge Hardesty a lot of credit. I really do, because, you know, and first I'm going to disclose that I happened to be involved in this campaign, 5 years ago. But, you know, I have to give him a lot of credit for doing something that's not been done in this whole process, and that is he invited the press and the public in the whole process when he mediated this last year. And that, to my knowledge, is the first time that's ever been done. And I think that's one of the things that actually made, and the sanctions that you talked about, I think, are what made this work.
I think that was very artful in the judge bringing all those people together in a forum that was public, because then people's position were stated not only for the record, but publicly for the record.
Yeah, and I throw something.
Let Andy in here. You guys get your own show. Couldn't play the dribble the basketball. Get your own show.
Letting me speak.
Okay, Andy.
You and I haven't said a word.
Andy, you're up next. All right, go ahead, Andy.
Hatch Act. Hatch Act and public employees. And should public employees be holding elective office?
I say yes, and I think that the Hatch Act has to go.
I do too.
It is old-fashioned. It is not with the times. We have people in public office who understand a lot of the issues that are facing the state. Yes, do we have to have rules and regulations and protections so that you can't, what's the word I want?
Well, we just had a session. We just had a session where all they cared about was government and taking care of government, and actually did nothing for the private sector.
Well, but
go back to Jason's bill.
Yeah.
Jason's bill right now, because what we are seeing is the government is moving in to take over what I thought that the Contractors Board was supposed to be partially or totally responsible for. Hello, what are we talking about this?
The Contractors Board brought you construction defects too, okay? But, well, you know, Andy, in answer to your question, I agree with Martha and I agree with Keith that the Hatch Act needs to be revised.
Absolutely.
especially in a citizen legislature. When you have a citizen legislature, you want to have as broad a spectrum of people, and that includes teachers, and that includes police chiefs, and that includes a lot of people.
Okay,
but the problem that you're going to have is that in Southern Nevada with this Wendell Williams thing, believe me when I tell you this is going to have a major impact, because there is an initiative petition out there that is suggesting if it qualifies to not allow public employees to serve.
Okay, I want to talk about something nationally here. We have less than a minute left here. But President Bush has bypassed the national media and is now traveling around the country, going to regional television station groups where they will not come on a program like this, because these programs don't exist anywhere else, and they'll ask softball questions and he'll give whatever answers he wants. What do you think about that, Jim?
Smart move, in my opinion.
Politically very smart.
He is not getting what he perceives as the better, even getting a 50% share of accuracy in his Iraq policy. It's a smart move on his part.
What Iraq policy?
Okay, Keith?
Smart move politically, bad move from a public policy standpoint.
And that's where we leave it. Okay, thanks, guys. We'll be back on Nevada Newsmakers after this timeout.
Big Apple Pizza, best pizza in Nevada, take one.
Today we're making homemade meatballs for a meatball parm. You like cheesesteak? I think you like it South Philly right now. It's the best cheese ever made. Now that's how a Philly cheesesteak's supposed to look.
And here's little Cole.
This is authentic. We'll throw some pepperoni in here. Not gonna be shy about it. Yeah, I bet you guys didn't know I could do that. Don't skimp on the toppings. Authentic as it gets. Big Apple Pizza and Subs on the corner of Bering and McCarran. A New Jersey guy who knows how to make an East Coast pizza.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at DeAndrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South DeAndrea Parkway in Sparks.
Hi, I'm Dan.
And I'm Terry.
And this is Dan's Pizza and Parlor. Everything we make here is from scratch. Our fresh cut fries, homemade hamburgers made to order, fresh pizza dough made with 3 types of flour, and Terry's secret pizza sauce, and Dreyer's world famous ice cream. And if you have a sports team, your kids can really have a great time here. Oh! Dan's Pizza and Parlor on Victorian Avenue, just down the street from Great Basin Brewery next to Pyramid Highway.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
Andy, I think that has to be a first where you and I barely got a word in on the pundit panel.
Don't you love it?
They should get their own show.
Well, you know, this Wendell Williams case is going to have huge ramifications all over the state, and we're going to look more at that in depth tomorrow.
I'd also be curious to see, Wendell Williams, we haven't said it up until this point, but is an African American, and I'd be curious to see what the African American community thinks of his behavior that's been alleged so far, and see the response to that.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow.
Okay, and we'll also have John L. Smith coming on the show. He's going to be awesome by satellite. Join us then.